Welcome, everyone, to Season 8 of Conversations with Archbishop Kurtz. I cannot believe it's been 8 years of doing this.
Brian, I'm starting my 10th year. I just had my 9th anniversary last month, and here we are, the 8th season, so it's going to be good to work with you again.
Terrific, terrific. Yeah. And we welcome our audience back to be with us again. And as always, we always remind you, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to contact us at the address that's right up on the screen there. Now, Archbishop, we're back at the Maloney Center. Last year, we went on the road. We took this show, the conversation show, on the road to lots of different locations. We'll probably do that again later this year, but for this year, starting this month, we're at the Maloney Center, which is one of our, actually it's our largest of our staff office buildings in the Archdiocese. In this building, we have the Vocations Office, the Family Ministries Office, the Multicultural Ministries Office, we have the Worship Office, we have the Facilities Office, the Records located here, and of course this beautiful television studio. So lots of activity goes on in this building. And Archbishop, as this year progresses, we're also preparing our new building.
We are, Brian. We're not only changing locations, but we're changing name from the Chancery to the Archdiocesan Pastoral Center. And you've said it very well. You'd know better than I would. In my mind, I'm saying that we're going to move in April. And I don't know if we are or not, but I'll keep that in my mind until April comes around. The key things, I think, with the move that people, I think, will be excited about. One is we want to make our service accessible. The Archdiocesan Pastoral Center is to serve others in Christ's name. So accessibility to every county throughout the Archdiocese. Collaboration. We're going to have more of our staff working together, and of course Maloney Center will continue, and our Catholic Charities, but we'll continue to build that level of cooperation and collaboration. And then thirdly, and I love this, we're going to be parish rooted. We're going to be right on the grounds of Holy Family Parish. So I'm just excited about the change.
Well, to your comment about timing, I've learned doing a few construction projects around here never to do anything in ink.
That's a good point. Okay. So I'll be ready to announce and apologize.
Very good, very good. And we're ready to move your suitcase or your books from your office on short notice. But sometime next spring, we'll be in the new Pastoral Center. As Archbishop said, the Maloney Center will continue to be an operating facility for many of our offices. The rest will be in the new Pastoral Center, and of course Catholic Charities has a number of locations that they work out of. So our topic for this week, we have many different things in our show today, but the opening is, let's think about this past summer. You had quite an interesting summer.
It was a rich summer, Brian. I had the privilege of being asked to give talks in various places at the Franciscan University in Steubenville, at Notre Dame, at the Institute for Priestly Formation in Omaha. But the biggest one, of course, was the privilege of being with Pope Francis and 1.5 million of his closest young adult friends in Kraków, Poland for World Youth Day, the 31st World Youth Day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always like to joke with you about your travel schedule, because you get quite a few things, and sometimes these events line up near each other, and geography can be a challenge. How are you going to get from one to the other?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I love driving, and of course, you don't drive to Kraków, though,
no,
so I was happy to have a plane for that one. Exactly.
Well, let's talk about World Youth Day.
Yeah.
This goes back to St. John Paul II.
It does.
So let's talk about what is your World Youth Day, then we'll talk about Poland, we'll talk about the themes, those things, but just talk about what is World Youth Day.
Brian, if we were to talk about what church is or who church is, it's really communion in Christ, isn't it? I mean, you can't really say, I'm a member of the church, but I'm going to do this all by myself. It goes against it. And so World Youth Day is one of many examples where the church comes together. In this case, young adults, the majority of them age 18 to 30, as you well know, from every corner of the world. Our Holy Father comes and inspires, and the attitude was just so positive. I think people always like at that age to meet new people, to make new friends, but it was done in such a respectful way. There was nothing rowdy about it. It was very civil. I was just very proud, and I think everybody was. Kraków is called the city of the saints, and St. John Paul, of course, the martyrs because of the concentration camp of Auschwitz, Saint Maximilian Kolbe and others. So we had many, many things to celebrate at that time.
Archbishop, was there a particular theme for this World Youth Day?
Yeah, there was, and it was Encounter the God's Mercy.
Okay. Year of Mercy.
Jubilee, Year of Mercy, so encounter God's mercy. And, for Pope Francis to come and do that, he gave a great opening letter, so to speak, and I had the privilege of being one of maybe 200 catechists, and in English mine was, and we all had we made it our own, but we all had the common theme that came from his letter. It was begin with the gift of mercy, what it means to receive mercy, and very concretely to witness it in our own lives, and then what it means to share God's mercy with others. So it was a great, great theme, and the Knights of Columbus did a great job bringing together so many of the Americans. We had over 17,000 young people who went all the way. I mean, that's quite an expense, but they went all the way to Poland, and it was really touching.
Archbishop, as you know, World Youth Day moves around the globe.
It does.
We're a universal church. I was lucky to be on the staff of World Youth Day when it was in Denver back in the early 90s.
And that really was a formative time for World Youth Day.
Oh, it changed youth work, Catholic youth work in the United States, because so many people got alive, and I think we had 100,000 Americans there alone at that one. But why the significance of Poland?
Well, of course, I think the footsteps of St. John Paul II,
the founder.
The notion that we as a church are a suffering church, and the people of Poland have had to really witness to their faith in the midst of great oppression. I mean, during World War II, you had the terrible oppression of the Nazis. Then you had the communist regime, all of which were saying faith doesn't mean anything. And to have the square filled, and then to have the closing mass with 1.5 million young people, and to have enthusiasm among the Polish people welcoming was, I think, a boost for the people of Poland.
That's terrific.
My mom's family comes from Poland.
I was going to ask you about it.
I had a little bit of a secret desire also.
Did takeaways maybe, Archbishop, just a couple?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway would be I try to picture what I did a little essay, say, when we come down from the mountain.
Okay.
What is it that happens? And I think the big takeaways that I think our young people have is their encounter with Christ with one another, I think is big. It's massive that they have made friends in Christ from different parts of the world. It's, I think, I hope, uncovering more deeply their vocation. God's calling for them. And in a very special way, I think they're knowing that the church needs them, and that Christ says to them, do not be afraid. Yeah. And our Holy Father's message really gave that. So I think the sending, if you will, was very important.
Very good. The World Youth Day is a real blessing. I'm glad you could be there. I'm glad we had young people from our diocese, from around our country. And I know at the end they announced the next one's going to be a little bit closer, going to be in Panama. So very good. So thanks for sharing that bit of your summer story with us. And thank you for listening to segment 1. We have lots of interesting things still ahead of us today. We're going to talk a little bit about the Life Conference, and we're going to talk about the corporal and spiritual works of mercy. We'll be right back.